So how do you pitch a billion-dollar idea? Well, today we get to go inside the actual pitch deck for a company called EDCAPIT. They think they've cracked the code on a huge global problem. So let's dive in and break this thing down slide by slide.
And they kick things off with this question right here. It's really the core of their entire pitch. And this isn't just some hypothetical, right? This frames a massive, very real-world problem that impacts millions of people and, the countries they're moving to.
And there's the number. We're talking about over 280 million people. That is a massive population on the move globally. And so often they arrive in a new country without the one thing they desperately need to succeed, which is practical, hands-on education to get them into the workforce, and fast. Okay, so this massive challenge creates what the pitch calls a global education gap. So what problems are we really talking about here? What are these individuals and their new countries actually up against? And here's the first huge hurdle. According to their pitch, a whopping 90% of the edtech platforms out there right now are English only. And look, they're just not built for the very specific needs of migrants who have to learn new skills, but in their own native language.
Now, this is where the pitch gets really interesting from an economic standpoint. Think about this. Governments can spend up to $18,000 on a single migrant in just their first year. But the time it takes to get that money back through taxes? It can be 5, 6, even 7 years. That huge delay? Well, it puts a major strain on the system.
So what's the result? Well, the pitch argues it's basically a lose-lose situation. The individual can't find their footing, they can't contribute, and at the same time, the country's economy is feeling the strain of that super slow integration. It's a cycle that really helps absolutely no one.
All right, so how do you break that cycle? Well, this is where the pitch introduces its hero, EDCAPIT's AI-powered solution.
So what is EDCAPIT? At its core, it's an AI-powered platform. It's built from the ground up to give migrants job-ready skills. And here's the crucial part. It does it all in the language they already speak. No English barrier. Okay, so how does it actually work? Well, you can think of it like a two-sided marketplace. On one side, you have the students, right? They get AI-guided courses, support, and even official certification. And on the other side, you've got instructors and authors. For them, it's a gateway, a way to make money from their expertise by reaching a huge global audience.
So what's their secret sauce? What makes them different? Well, the pitch argues it's this unique blend of AI-customized learning, with a whole ecosystem, courses, webinars, a community, all built for a very specific audience. And it's all laser-focused on one key outcome, helping governments spend less by getting people into jobs way faster.
And this right here, this is the mic drop moment of their value proposition. It's a really bold claim. They're saying, forget that 5 to 7 year wait. We can turn people who are receiving welfare into tax-paying professionals in just 3 to 6 months. I mean, if they can actually pull that off, the economic impact would be absolutely massive.
Okay, so the social mission is powerful, right? It's really clear. But this is a pitch to investors. And for them, the big question is always going to be, where's the money? So let's get into the business of integration and see how they plan to make this thing profitable.
Yeah, it's a compelling mission, for sure. But is there a real viable business here? This is always the pivot in a pitch like this. How do you make money while also doing good in the world? And for EDCAPIT, their answer starts with the sheer size of the market. And they start really, really big. The total market for EdTech, what investors call the TAM, is over $400 billion. Huge. Then they narrow it down to their serviceable addressable market, or SAM, which is still a massive $10 billion. But here's where they get focused. Their starting point, their beachhead market, is what they call their SOM, a $30 million plus slice focused on Slavic-speaking migrants.
Their revenue model is refreshingly simple. When a course is sold, the author who made it gets a huge 70% cut, and the platform keeps 30%. Now, that really generous split is actually a core part of their strategy. Why? Because it gets experts excited to create content for the platform, and even better, to bring their own followers with them. That means EDCAP's cost to find new customers stays super low.
So, let's talk growth. How do they actually get to that magic number of $100,000 in monthly recurring revenue? Well, this table breaks down the math.
And what's wild is that they don't need thousands and thousands of instructors to do it. Their model shows they could hit that major milestone with as few as 170 active authors. It takes this huge, scary goal and makes it feel, well, actually achievable. Okay, so this all builds up to the final act of the pitch. This is where they lay it all on the line. The ask. What do they need? And what's the grand vision that money is going to help them build? And there it is. The ask is for $800,000. This is their seed funding round, and it's designed to pour fuel on the fire and kickstart their next big phase of growth. So, where's that 800 grand going? Well, you can see the biggest chunk, 40%, is all about growth and marketing. That's a huge signal that their number one priority is to scale, and scale fast. The next 30% is for beefing up the tech, specifically their AI and their mobile apps. And this is the ambition. This is what that funding is meant to unlock. The pitch lays out a really clear roadmap, from a $10 million valuation today all the way to their ultimate goal, hitting that legendary unicorn status, a $1 billion valuation, by the year 2030. They are not thinking small here.
And they close out the deck with their tagline, which honestly sums up the whole mission perfectly. It's about creating what they call educational capital that's open to anyone, anywhere, no matter where you started your journey.
Which, of course, leaves us with the big final question. I mean, EDCAPIT has laid out a really compelling case, right? A huge problem, a clear solution, a super ambitious business plan, but the challenge they are taking on, it is absolutely immense. So, can a single platform, even one powered by AI, truly solve a global problem like migrant integration? Well, that's not just a big question. That's the billion-dollar question for the founders, for their investors, and really for all of us.